Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today for this great presentation that we have all about our rail vacations, traveling through the Pacific Northwest, our rail and sail packages, taking you on an Alaska cruise, and our Canadian Rockies trip. We're so excited. We have over 1,000 people that are joining us today throughout the day. I want to introduce myself. I'm Jackie Malecki, and your webinar host. And I do have a special guest speaker who's back by popular demand, and I'll introduce him in just a bit to tell you all about our rail vacations and possibilities. We have some really exciting offers and discounts today, and stay tuned because at the end of this presentation, I'll be giving away a $100 Amtrak Vacations gift certificate to put towards your next vacation to one lucky attendee. And I'll also be announcing some exclusive discounts that are just for all of you for attending today for the packages that will feature in just a bit. And I am so excited to share those discounts with you. You'll also want to make sure to write down our number there so you can book any of these packages. And that number is 1-800-268-7252. And you can also book any of our packages through your local travel agent. So why should you travel with Amtrak Vacations? Well, first of all, it's a bucket list experience to travel by train. And you'll see some beautiful sights and parts of the country that you would never see just by flying or driving. There's room to roam on board the train as you're traveling to your destination. You're not stuck in your seat like you are on a plane or when driving. You can get up and stretch your legs, maybe walk to the observation car with the large glass windows there, taking in all those beautiful sights. It's less hassle when you book with us because everything is all packaged together. Your rail, your hotels, sightseeing tours, even some of the meals. We also have e-tickets and electronic documents to make things easier. The train has city-to-city service, and what I mean by this is the train will pick you up in the heart of one city and bring you right to the next one, right in downtown city center, so it's not like the airports where you're on the outskirts. You can satisfy your hunger on board. There's a dining car on all the long-distance trains, and there's a chef that's preparing the meals. It's not like food on the domestic airlines at all. It doesn't come pre-packaged or anything. And I had dinner on the train a little while ago, and I ordered a delicious steak dinner. There's also a snack car if you want to grab a quick bite in between meals. And we have lots of flexibility with our packages. Most of them have daily departures, and we can also customize any of our packages to make the perfect vacation for you. Now, I always love showing this map of the Amtrak route system because a lot of people don't realize the extent that Amtrak travels to. It goes to 46 of the 48 continuous states, and the only two it does not go through are South Dakota and Wyoming. And a little fun fact I always love to share is last year, 31.6 million people traveled on Amtrak. And that's people coming from all over the U.S. and all over the world, really, who really want to enjoy a scenic and relaxing train trip. We have a few different types of products and something to meet every traveler's needs. We have our escorted rail journeys, and that includes a tour guide for the duration of the trip. You're traveling in a small group. It's more inclusive of the meals and sightseeing. It's perfect for those of you who don't want to worry about anything. We have our independent journeys. Those are our multi-city trips using rail to take you from city to city. And it's great for those who want to explore on their own and travel at their own pace, but we still include those hotels and tours for you. We have our family adventures, great for multi-generational travelers. We have lots of friendly family activities included. We have our rail and sail packages. You can take the rail from your local Amtrak station right to your port of departure before your cruise. Maybe it's going to Alaska. We have our rail getaways, which are single city trips. We add in that round trip rail from your hometown there. And of course, we have our packages including the national parks. Now, keep in mind, on any of our packages that you'll hear today, you can actually start them from any of the 500 Amtrak stations, or you can even fly to start or end a trip. So it all depends on where you're coming from, how much vacation time, and how long you'd like to be on the train. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker today, Jim Marini.
Okay, well, thank you very much, Jackie. What a great introduction. And first and foremost, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are located throughout the United States as well as the world. As Jackie mentioned, my name is Jim Marini, and proudly the Director of Sales for Amtrak Vacations, and certainly excited to be back to talk about one of my favorite areas of the world, and that, of course, is the Pacific Northwest, Alaska, and the beautiful Canadian Rockies. I just want to reiterate also, to book any of these exciting packages that I'm going to highlight here today, please feel free to give any of our vacation consultants a call. And again, that number is 1-800-AMTRAK2, or you can book any of these exciting packages through your local travel agent as well. So without further ado, just to keep our presentation moving, let's start right in. So here we are, folks, our Pacific Northwest, one of our most popular selling itineraries in the United States. And as you can see here on the map, if you look at the map, you notice we'll spend 2 nights in each city, 2 nights in San Francisco, 2 nights in Portland, as well as the last 2 nights in Seattle. I did want to mention that on any of these trips that I highlight here today, any of them can also be customized to be even longer or shorter to start and or end at any of the over 500 Amtrak stations in the United States. So definitely keep that in mind. But as far as this itinerary, as you can see, we spend 2 nights in beautiful San Francisco before taking an overnight train on Coast Starlight. And we leave in the evening, arrive in the early afternoon. And I do want to mention, and I will highlight this, any of you that upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom, if you get any of our sleeper accommodations, which I know I speak for Jackie, we highly recommend, because not only will you have your own private accommodations on the overnight journey from San Francisco to Portland, but you will also get all your meals included on that particular train portion of your journey. So keep that in mind. Once we arrive in Portland, we're there for 2 nights, and then from Portland we head up north to Seattle, and that's either on the Coast Starlight again, or it's on the Cascades. So it's just a great train ride, and certainly just a shorter train ride, 3.5 to 4 hours, and you are in Seattle. So with that in mind, let's kind of highlight each of the beautiful cities. So here we have San Francisco, otherwise known as City by the Bay. San Francisco for us is one of our top 5 most popular cities that all of our travelers will head to and go to here in the United States. Here you have a beautiful picture of the Golden Gate Bridge. You know, they estimate it takes about 4 years to repaint this bridge from start to finish, one side to the next. As you can see here in the highlights, we do include a double-decker hop-on, hop-off tour, as well as heading over to Muir Woods and having a Sausalito tour. So again, this is beautiful because it is one of our independent itineraries, which pretty much has daily departures and allows you lots of flexibility. As I mentioned, we do travel on the Coast Starlight from San Francisco north up into Portland. Again, we can't highly encourage each of you enough to consider upgrading to one of our many sleepers. Again, either roomettes or bedrooms, which I will tell you more about in just a little bit. Space does sell out fast, so definitely keep that in mind as well. And then from there, we arrive in Portland. You know, Portland's great. It's a great city for nightlife. Lots of great restaurants. And actually, speaking of food, there's actually over 700 food carts in the city of Portland. In fact, more food carts in the city of Portland than any other city in the United States. It's also home to the smallest park in the country, which is called Mill End Park, and it is a total of 2.5 feet long, the entire park, and it's right there in the city. As you can see, we do have a hop-on, hop-off trolley tour, which I do want to mention, everyone, is a great way to get in and around the city without having to need to get a rental car. You know, it's just a nice way to get in and around the city without having to rent a car. However, we do have car rentals available on any of our packages once you're actually in the city, so definitely keep that in mind. And we also include a nice dinner cruise on the Willamette River. And then before you know it, everybody, we are in the beautiful city of Seattle, which, of course, is home to Starbucks. And we all know how large Starbucks is. And it's also home to the first revolving restaurant, which is located in the Space Needle. Now, when you're in Seattle, of course, as you can see right there in the middle of this picture, that is a picture of the Space Needle, over 600 feet tall and absolutely amazing. It's also home to some famous people such as Bill Gates, who grew up in a suburb outside of Seattle, as well as Jimi Hendrix and Bing Crosby. So you get a lot of great history here. So this trip itself, everybody, 8 days, 7 nights, again, San Francisco, Portland, Oregon, and Seattle. Again, daily departures all year long. It does do very, very well for us, especially if you're looking to upgrade to a roomette or bedroom. So definitely let any of our vacation consultants or your local travel agent know. Now, a great trip that we've just come out with as well, which also features the Pacific Northwest, is a brand new one. This is our Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria rail journey. So as you can see here, if you look at the map, there is not any overnight trains on this particular itinerary, but we do spend 2 nights in Seattle, 2 nights in Vancouver, and 2 nights in Victoria. Now this also, just like all the itineraries, all the trips I'm going to highlight here today, because they are independent itineraries, we have daily departures, and you also get to choose what style hotels that you want to stay at, whether it's in the Pacific Northwest that I just mentioned or right here in Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria. So we have choices anywhere from moderate style hotels such as Holiday Inn to deluxe style hotels such as the Marriott, Hilton, Westin, even Fairmont, which I'll talk about in just a little bit. But just like our Pacific Northwest, this also features Seattle. Seattle, again, just such a great city. This also is known for its many bands that have come out of Seattle, known for their live music. Also, interesting, there's actually more bookstores per capita in Seattle than anywhere else, any other city in the United States. Now, once we leave Seattle and we travel up to Vancouver, we actually travel on the Cascades. It's about a 4-hour train ride. It actually goes 2 times a day, either at 7:45 a.m. or at 6:50 p.m. So you get to decide when you would like to leave the city of Seattle to head up into beautiful Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. It's actually the 3rd most livable place in the world, voted by Condé Nast, and also the 10th cleanest city in the world. It's the 4th largest cruise terminal in the world. It is absolutely spectacular. Obviously, Vancouver was also home not too long ago to the Winter Olympics that took place. The real estate prices in here, everyone, the most expensive in all of Canada. It is a vibrant city located right along the waterfront, great seafood restaurants, Asian, Indian food restaurants. So you really feel like you're traveling within Europe just by crossing the border over into Canada. Now, as you can see, the trend not only here in Vancouver, but again, all our major cities that we feature, there's always some type of hop-on, hop-off tour included. We also have admission to the Capilano Suspension Bridge, so that's a unique experience for those of you that want to be a little more adventurous. And as I mentioned a little bit earlier, one of my personal favorites is traveling over to Victoria, otherwise known as Vancouver Island. Now, we actually take a ferry, everyone, from Vancouver over to Victoria, where we get a chance to spend, again, 2 nights in this beautiful island. And you'll notice the first highlight, everyone, we actually experience an afternoon tea at the Fairmont Empress Hotel. By the way, any of the Fairmont hotels, if you choose to stay in these hotels throughout Canada or even in Seattle, they are 5-star. 5 stars is the highest. It's the most valued style hotels. It is beautiful. They estimate they serve about 500,000 cups of tea every year, everyone. So imagine that. And typically it takes place around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As you can see, again, also hop on, hop off tour, and probably one of the biggest attractions in all of Canada, let alone in Victoria, is the world famous Bouchard Gardens, everyone. Take a look at this. In fact, Victoria is known as the City of Gardens because of the world famous Bouchard Gardens. Absolutely amazing. They have the Italian garden, the Japanese garden. There's over 900 different varieties of plants within the gardens itself. And recently, Victoria was named the #1 most romantic city in all of Canada by Amazon. So anyway, just a little interesting tidbit on Victoria. So this package, again, everybody, 7 days, 6 nights, Seattle, Vancouver, and Victoria. Again, you have the option to make your trip longer or shorter if you like. Again, any of these trips that I'm highlighting can be customized. However, one of the things, for those of you that have joined me on some of my previous presentations, first off, thank you for joining me again, as well as Jackie. And for those of you that are joining us for the first time, welcome. What's nice about all of these packages that I'm highlighting here, everyone, they were created from all of our travelers like yourself. So many times I always say, whatever you're thinking of, whatever particular trips, however long you're looking to travel or where you're looking to start, chances are we already have a package that includes what you're looking for, because again, all of these were created from our travelers like yourself. And speaking of being created from our travelers, everyone, take a look at this. Now, this not only includes the Pacific Northwest, everybody, but it's really for those of you that are real train buffs and real train enthusiasts, because we not only include the Empire Builder from Chicago out to Seattle, we not only include the Coast Starlight from Seattle down to San Francisco, but we also include the California Zephyr from San Francisco back to Chicago, as well as 2 of the great 3 cities within the Pacific Northwest, Seattle and San Francisco. So definitely keep this in mind. As I mentioned, it is actually round trip from Chicago. So once we travel from Chicago on our way to Seattle, we travel through some of the beautiful national parks, such as Glacier National Park, and we travel on our way to Seattle. Now, when we arrive in Seattle, we do spend 1 night in Seattle. Again, you have the option to spend 2 or 3 nights if you choose. So again, any of these can be customized. When we are in Seattle, you do have an opportunity to see the famous Chihuly Garden, which is beautiful. And then after we leave Seattle, we travel south again on the Coast Starlight into beautiful San Francisco. Now, San Francisco, similar to Vancouver, also one of the most expensive real estate districts in all of the United States. Now, San Francisco, ironically, just a little fun trivia, was actually part of Mexico until 1848, believe it or not. Now, San Francisco, for me, is very special. It was actually where I traveled on my honeymoon. And for those of you that have joined me previously, this past year we talked about some of our great packages that included San Francisco, and I mentioned this wonderful restaurant my wife and I went to, and I want to say it was called the Garlic Rose or the Garlic Crab, if I remember, and everything on the menu was made of garlic, everyone, including the ice cream. Imagine that, including the ice cream. For those of you that are sports fans, of course, San Francisco is home to the San Francisco Giants baseball team, the 49ers football team. Some other interesting fact about San Francisco, the city's cable cars are actually the only national historic monument that actually moves. Okay, so keep that in mind. Again, great city all year round. And after we leave San Francisco, we are then on our journey back into Chicago. So again, round-trip rail included from Chicago. This right here is, again, known as our Northern Rail Experience, 9 days, 8 nights. As you can see, again, hop-on, hop-off tours included in Seattle and San Francisco, as well as a sightseeing tour of Muir Woods, Sausalito, and a cruise. as well. So just a great itinerary, everyone. And again, for those of you who not only want the best of the Pacific Northwest, but you want that rail experience, here is your package. And I will let everyone know, this particular package has now moved into one of our top 5 most requested packages in all of the United States, everyone. It is a great value. Again, give our agents a call if this is a trip that is of interest to you, or certainly contact your local travel agent. Now, something that's very special to me personally is also an Alaska cruise with rail from Chicago. Now, this happens to be on Celebrity Cruises, which is great. But what's nice about this particular package, everyone, is we start in Chicago. So this Alaska cruise, really a true rail and sail package, includes rail from Chicago on the Empire Builder, where we travel out to Seattle, where we begin our wonderful cruise. Now, what's nice about this particular trip, we're 2 nights on board the Empire Builder. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, the Empire Builder does travel through Glacier National Park. So for those of you who may want to spend a night or 2 in Glacier National Park along the way before taking a beautiful Alaska cruise, you can do that. I will share with everyone, here's a picture of the train station in Glacier National Park. You are only a little over 200 steps away from Glacier Park Lodge, one of the many lodges that we use in Glacier National Park. So again, just as a suggestion for all of you, that is an option that you can easily add into this particular itinerary. And then before you know it, we arrive in, again, beautiful Seattle. Just so much to see and do here. So we will spend 1 night here before getting ready to board Celebrity Cruises on Solstice. Now, if you look at this picture right there, that fine-looking gentleman in the middle, everyone, yes, that is myself. That was actually my previous company that I worked for before Amtrak. So what's special is my background's a little bit of trains, planes, and automobiles, but I had the pleasure of working for the cruise line for a few years, and one thing that always impressed me, for those of you that have not had an opportunity to travel on a cruise, is getting a chance to meet the staff on board. You know, this particular cruise ship, they pride themselves. Every 2 guests, there's 1 member of Celebrity Cruises there for every 2 guests. So the ship itself fits a little over 2,000 people, so it's considered a mid to large size cruise line. One thing that I personally found fascinating is, on an average, typically the staff represents over 50 to 60 different countries, and it always amazes me that they all come together to work in harmony. And if you look at this picture, the gentleman all the way to the right, he was from South Africa. Next to him, the gentleman's from Mexico. Then on the left of me, he's from Canada, and then the United States. So just a wonderful, wonderful staff. Now take a look at this picture, everybody. Absolutely breathtaking. Now, I will let everyone know Alaska is seasonal, so our departures do not start until May of this year, and they go until the very beginning of September. I will let everyone know space does sell out very, very fast. And many times, to be able to go on the cruise, including rail, many times is actually less expensive than if you were to do just a cruise only. So that's what's special about this. We bundled it all together. So not only do you have the wonderful experience cruising, but you also can enjoy traveling on the Empire Builder from Chicago, a true rail and sail experience. Now, if you look in the top right-hand corner, everyone, this is just a picture of one of the many verandas or balconies, okay, same type of upgraded cabins. So verandas or balconies, which to me, I always highly recommend when you're going on an Alaska cruise to always upgrade to a veranda or balcony. Again, you don't want to miss the beautiful sights along the way. A picture in the bottom right-hand corner. Of course, all meals are included once you're on the cruise itself, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They even have some midnight buffets available. However, they also have a food and beverage package. So it's something that is optional. We always recommend it, where you can then go to any of the specialty dining restaurants. You can also upgrade your drink package to have drinks on board up to a certain amount. So again, ask our vacation consultants more about that to really add to your overall experience cruising in and out of Alaska. Also, I did want to mention transfers to and from the cruise port are included as well. So definitely keep that in mind. Before I wrap up Alaska itself, just some other little fun tidbits on this particular itinerary. It is a total of 11 days, 10 nights, again, including rail, a 2-night journey on the Empire Builder from Chicago. But Alaska itself, they estimate 1 out of every 9 people that live in Alaska actually has his or her pilot's license. Imagine that, everybody. It actually became part of the United States back in 1867. Now, here's a great deal. We actually purchased it from Russia for $7.2 million, and if you break that down by acres, it was about 2 cents per acre. So I think you can all agree we got a great value. It officially became the 49th state of the United States back on January 3rd, and that is something very special. So again, keep Alaska in mind, everybody. They also, something else interesting, the state of Rhode Island can actually fit into Alaska 425 times. Also, most of the U.S. salmon, crab, and halibut actually comes from Alaska itself. So again, great package, all-inclusive, rail and sail. Give us a call, and we will help you answer all and any of your questions that you have. Now moving along to our Canadian Rockies Discovery Eastbound with Seattle. So we wanted to feature the Canadian Rockies, everyone. I've had the pleasure of traveling really all over the world, let alone throughout Canada. And one of the things that we love to mention, which is why we wanted to feature a couple of our different Canadian Rockies packages, is the fact that any of these packages, everyone, again, can start and or end in the United States on Amtrak. For example, on this package, we start in Seattle for the first night. And again, you have the option of either flying to Seattle to begin your trip, or you can train from your local train station to Seattle, where then we travel north up into Vancouver. Again, it's about a 4-hour train ride before then connecting on to Via Rail, which is the national train company of Canada. Now, in Seattle, again, we'll have an opportunity to head over to the Space Needle as well as the Chihuly Garden and Glass exhibit before traveling north again up into Vancouver. So again, featuring a lot of these great cities within the Pacific Northwest and Western Canada. But now it really gets into some of the pure beauty of the Canadian Rockies. Here we have a beautiful picture of Jasper, everybody. This is actually located in the province of Alberta, known for its many waterfalls, glaciers. Now this also is seasonal, just like Alaska, which departs from May through September. So does our Canadian Rockies packages. Typically, May through September is when you want to be here. Now, if you're looking to save on price, whether it's Alaska or the Canadian Rockies, we always suggest what we refer to in the industry as edge season or shoulder season, which would be the months of May, June, or August or September. However, the best time of the year, the most beautiful weather, everyone, is June, July, and August. So again, depending on when you want to travel, this definitely is a place to head to and consider. And of course, Jasper, absolutely beautiful. So we will have a sightseeing tour included. We have an Icefields Parkway excursion, which is pretty amazing, and that's on what they call a snow coach, which actually drives right onto the glacier of ice. So pretty amazing. Our next stop is beautiful Lake Louise, everyone. Take a look at this. You know, as I mentioned, I've been fortunate to travel all over the world, and this is still one of my favorite destinations in all of Canada, let alone one of my top 5 in the world, and that is beautiful Lake Louise. It actually has the highest permanent settlement in all of Canada, and in the summertime, they actually estimate they will get about 15,000 visitors every single day. About 15,000 visitors every single day. Now, my other favorite city is right here, and this is Banff, This is actually Banff, which is officially the highest town in Canada, and they estimate about 4 million people visit Banff every year. Now what you're looking at here is actually a picture of what's called Banff Avenue. And as you drive down this street or you travel by motor coach, you can certainly enjoy all the great little restaurants. They have some neat little cookie stores and fudge factories, and as you can see, it truly is nestled in the heart of the mountains. I always say some of the cleanest, freshest air I've ever experienced in the world is in the beautiful Canadian Rockies. So again, everyone, this package itself is our Canadian Rockies Discovery eastbound, including Seattle. Now, I do want to mention every trip that I highlight here, this being the first, within Canada, can go in either direction. So we can do either eastbound or westbound. So you can start, if you choose, in Seattle and head to Calgary, or start in Calgary and then end in Seattle. So you have the option to go in either direction, whatever works best for you. But definitely keep that package in mind. The second Canadian Rockies, as well as all of Canada, I want to highlight is our classic Canada and Rockies westbound. Now you can see here on the map, this particular package starts in Toronto, but as many of you may or may not be aware, there's actually the train that heads right from New York City direct into Toronto. So you could begin your journey right in New York City. You could spend a night, 2, 3 nights if you choose, before traveling north up into Toronto. It is a day trip. And then from there, we spend 2 nights in Toronto. We do have a day trip to beautiful Niagara Falls before traveling cross-country all the way out to Jasper into the Canadian Rockies before ending in Vancouver. Now, just like the previous package, this one also can go in either direction, so keep that in mind. I will also mention, for those of you that would like to do a trip similar to this, but you would like to visit Banff, then you might want to also keep in mind our Ultimate Canada and Rockies packages, which also goes, again, either eastbound or westbound. This one happens to be an 11-day, 10-night, and again, just a reminder, any of you can start and or end your trip at any of the 500 Amtrak stations in the United States. And as I talked about a little bit earlier, we have trains from Seattle right up into Vancouver, and we also have trains right from New York City into Toronto. So just a great way to experience these vibrant cities and beautiful areas within Canada. Now, Toronto is very special for me. I have a lot of family located in Toronto. Interestingly enough, it's one of the most multicultural cities in the world. They actually estimate over 50%, 50% of the residents in Toronto, everyone, was actually born outside of Canada. It's also home to the famous CN Tower, as you can see there, over 1,800 feet tall. Absolutely amazing. So you will, again, have 2 nights in this beautiful city. As I mentioned, we will also take a day trip to beautiful Niagara Falls, and we'll include a tour of Niagara on the lake and a trip on board the Hornblower cruises. So as you can see there in the picture, the cruise does get pretty close right into the falls. Now the falls itself, it's made up of 3 falls: the American Falls, the Bridal Veil Falls, and the Horseshoe Falls. Bridal Veil happens to be the smallest, and Horseshoe happens to be the largest. And they estimate about 30 million people visit Niagara Falls every single year. So again, keep this in mind, whether it's traveling anywhere in the United States or traveling from the United States up into Canada, any of these packages can be customized to be as long or as short as you would like. Look at this picture, everyone. Look at the color of that beautiful aqua-colored water. Like I said, for me, one of the most beautiful places in the world that I've ever traveled to. And that, of course, is traveling over into the beautiful Canadian Rockies, including Jasper. Here's another picture, as you can see, of just the beauty that is awaiting you in the Canadian Rockies. Again, it is seasonal. Only operates from May through September. May through September, so definitely keep that in mind. And then, of course, we end in the beautiful city of Vancouver. So Again, you'll have an opportunity to spend time here. Interestingly enough, Vancouver also has the largest film production outside of Los Angeles and New York City. It's also home to Stanley Park, which is famous for its totem poles. Stanley Park's actually 10% larger than Central Park in New York City. So just some other interesting little fun tidbits on this beautiful city. So again, everyone, this is our Classic Canada and Rockies Westbound, 11 days, 10 nights. Again, starting in Toronto, starting in Eastern Canada, with a day trip to Niagara Falls, heading out over into the Canadian Rockies, into Jasper, traveling through the beautiful Rockies before ending in Vancouver. Again, for those of you who would like to also include Banff, we do have an Ultimate Canada package, Ultimate Canada and Rockies, westbound or eastbound, that is 13 days, 12 nights. Again, any of these trips that I'm highlighting here today, everyone, again, feel free to give any of our vacation consultants a call. They are here waiting to help each and every one of you, or certainly contact your local travel agent. You can also visit us online as well, and that's www.amtrakvacations.com. So with that in mind, before I turn it back over to Jackie in just a little bit, I just want to highlight the seating and sleeping accommodations on Amtrak as you start and or end your journey within the United States or up into Canada. Now, if you take a look here, everyone, this is our coach seating, which is really our main seating on the train. You take a look on the left-hand side, everyone, look at the amount of leg room that they have available. Coach seating, to me, in many ways should almost not be called coach. It almost is more upgraded than that. And that is, if you've traveled on any domestic airlines, any airlines here in the United States, when you've been in Economy Plus or Economy Comfort, which is an upgrade above coach seating on the plane, to me, that's what coach seating is on Amtrak. Lots of leg room, also lots of room above the overhead. So keep that in mind. Even when you are in coach, you are very comfortable. Certainly for any of the overnight journeys, as we talked about, whether it's traveling from San Francisco up to Portland or throughout any areas in the United States where there's an overnight journey, we highly, highly recommend considering to upgrade to our sleepers. Now, our first level of sleeper accommodations is what's known as our roomette. Now, roomettes for us typically fit 2 adults. It is bunk bed style, okay? But what's nice is you have your own private accommodations. As you can see here, if you look at the picture, a table folds out, and at nighttime, both of the seats on either end, they sit flat, and you can extend from one side to the next. Above the window is the bunk bed, which just folds down, and there is a door that you can close to give you privacy at night. There's also an attendant on board that's there to help each and every one of you. Whenever you upgrade to a roomette or a bedroom, you also get first choice as far as what times that you would like to have either breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And I will share with everyone, roomettes for us are by far our most popular category of any of our sleepers. Many times to upgrade from a coach seat to a roomette sometimes is as minimal as $50 to $100 extra per person to $200 to $300, depending on the length of your journey. Now, one thing to keep in mind as well with roomettes, we have what we call a private yet shared bathroom. So what does that mean? That means you have access to showers on board as well as bathrooms. However, they are not physically inside of your roomette, okay? So they're typically down the hall or on the lower level. So typically there's 2 levels, first level and second level, and that is where the bathrooms and showers are located. Now, for those of you that absolutely want your own bathroom and shower inside of your room, then you would want to consider to upgrade one step further to our bedrooms. Now, whether it is a roomette or a bedroom, they do sell out very fast. So I can't tell you how many times people call, they'll wait, and there's no space available. So if you know you're interested in any of these packages and you definitely want a roomette or bedroom, again, let any of our vacation consultants know or your local travel agent. Bedrooms typically fit 2 adults and 1 child. They are a little bit bigger, of course, than roomettes, and again, they do have a bathroom and shower inside of the room itself. Here's just a little overview of kind of the layout of the different style rooms, okay? So again, whether it's a roomette, whether it's a bedroom, okay? And typically if it's bedroom, the bed on the lower level is a little bit larger, okay, than the bunk bed up top. So again, just giving you a little more flexibility as well. Speaking of flexibility, everybody, how about the dining on the train? You know, Jackie talked about her steak dinner, which sounded delicious to me, and I will share with all of you, I've had the pleasure of traveling overnight on Amtrak, and it is truly a remarkable experience. And having come from the cruise industry before, it was one of the things I was curious about. How does the cuisine relate to that of a cruise? And I got to tell you, everybody, full service, waiters, waitresses on board. You can order off the menu. And again, when you're in a roomette or a bedroom, everyone, all of your meals are included on the particular portion of your overnight train journey. So keep that in mind. And again, you get first choice as far as when you would like to eat at each meal. And as Jackie mentioned, it is really an assortment. So breakfast could be omelets, pancakes, waffles, lunch, cheeseburgers, chicken paninis, dinner time, salmon, steak, fish, just a great assortment. And also keep in mind the beautiful observation areas on the overnight trains, whether it's Empire Builder, California Zephyr, Coast Starlight. This is open access to everyone on the train, regardless if you're in coach seating, roomette, or bedrooms. And as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, there's typically attendants from Amtrak on the train, just to make sure everyone has a chance to have time to enjoy the beautiful scenery along the way. So we highly recommend to take advantage of that. So with that in mind, everybody, I'm going to turn it back over to Jackie so she could tell you more about how to book any of these or any of our other exciting packages to the Pacific Northwest, Alaska, and the Canadian Rockies. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you so much, Jim, for that, all that great information about those awesome destinations and packages that we have. So how to book, and as soon as I tell you those specials in just a minute, trust me, you're not going to want to wait to book these. So there's a few different ways. You can call one of our vacation specialists at 1-800-AMTRAK2. They'll be able to help you out there, put the perfect vacation together. You can also visit our website, amtrakvacations.com. And you can also visit your local travel agent who will be able to assist you with these bookings. Now that's just a small sample of some of the packages and destinations that we have, but we have over 50 destinations and you can view them all at amtrakvacations.com. Click right on our destinations tab there. And keep in mind, if you aren't seeing a package that you love, let us know because we can make some changes to something or even customize it to help get you that perfect vacation. We can also help in getting the right number of days and hitting a special price point that you have. I do want to mention we also have a travel protection option. It really is one of the best in the travel industry because it's canceled for any reason up until 12 noon the business day prior to your departure, and you get a full refund minus the cost of the trip protection. It also has some benefits to cover you while you're on your trip. It is optional, but I highly recommend it. We have some everyday discounts on the Amtrak rail portion of your trip. There's discounts for veterans and active military, a great AAA discount, and your local AAA travel agent can also help you with booking some of these packages. We have one for our seniors, so anyone are 62 or older, and children ages 2 to 12 will receive 50% off the adult rail fare. But now I'm excited to tell you all about the exclusive discounts that we have just for all of you for taking the time to join us today. And don't wait to book these because the offers are only good until March 16th. And the first offer we have is for select independent rail journeys. And we currently have an early booking discount running. And with that, it's $200 off per couple. But for all of you, we're offering an additional $100 off. So you can actually save $300 per couple. And this applies to the Pacific Northwest trip that Jim talked about today. So we also have a special offer on our Celebrity Alaska cruises. If you book a veranda or a balcony class, which you'll definitely want to do for those Alaska cruises to soak in all those amazing views there, If you book those classes, you'll receive a bottle of wine and chocolate-covered strawberries in your cabin. If you book a suite, you'll also get an additional $100 onboard credit. And don't wait to book the cruises, because those balcony rooms, they do go fast, especially with the Alaska cruises, because they are limited. And remember, the offer is only good until March 16th. And our final and best offer is for the Canadian Rockies and Cross Canada packages. And we're offering a huge discount of $350 per couple. And don't wait to book your bucket list trip, because again, this offer, it will end on March 16th. And as Jim mentioned, the summer, it is peak season for travelers on Via Rail, and those sleeping cabins, they do sell out quickly. There's actually already a few days in July that some of these accommodations are completely sold out. And I'm so excited we were able to get these exclusive discounts and offers for all of you. And I know it's a lot of information I just told you about. So I do have a handout with all those promo codes, discount amounts, book by dates that you can download from the panel on the right hand of your screen. If you do have any questions at all, please feel free to type them into your questions box. Jim and I will do our best to answer those for you. But before I answer those questions, I do want to make sure to announce our lucky $100 Amtrak Vacations gift certificate winner, and that winner is Faye Brown. So congratulations, Faye. You are the winner of our $100 Amtrak Vacations gift certificate to put towards your next trip. So I do see some questions that have been coming in, so I want to take a few minutes and let's answer some of those. So we have a great question from Nikki. Do we have to pay for the trip up front in full? That is a great question. No, you do not have to pay for it up front in full. You can just put a deposit down for any of our getaway packages. And our getaways, again, are single city trips with round trip rail there. It's a $100 deposit. And for any of our independent rail journeys like Jim had talked about today, or for our cruises, it's just a small deposit. It's $250 to lock in that price, and the full payment is not due until 60 days prior to your departure. So we have a great question from Daniel. I've been thinking of doing an Alaska cruise, but do we have to get the train from Chicago? I live in Los Angeles. That's another great question. And as Jim mentioned, you can start at any of the 500 Amtrak stations. So if you do live in Los Angeles, you can take the Coast Starlight from LA, going right up to Seattle there, spending the night, and then taking that Alaska cruise. We have a question from Faye. Does the train cross the border? What documents do you need for that? Yes, it does cross the border as it goes into Canada. Whether you're taking the train from Seattle going up to Vancouver, or in our Cross Canada packages, taking it from New York or going across to Toronto, you will need a passport for that. We will need that passport information at the time of booking. We have a question from Brenda. I'm interested in the Rail and Sail to Alaska. I have a group that's going to Alaska in September 2017. When will Amtrak pricing be available to consider your package? I love that you were ahead of that, Brenda, because definitely as early as you book, you're going to get you're going to get awesome pricing for it. For cruises for 2017, our pricing for it usually comes out around the fall. So definitely keep an eye out for that pricing. And remember, with Amtrak, with the rail portion, that pricing, it comes out 11 months in advance. And the pricing, it's all based upon availability. So the sooner you book that rail and those sleeping accommodations there, the best price you're going to get for it. We have a question from May. Are meals included for coach seating? For coach seating, the meals are not included on board the train. It's only included with the sleepers, the roomette, or the bedrooms. But if you are traveling in coach accommodations, you can still go to that dining car. You'll just purchase your meals on board. And there's also a snack car there too. So if you want kind of a quick bite in between meals, you get the munchies there, you can certainly go down to the snack car. So it looks like we have, let's see here. We have a question from Kathleen. Are the offers good for 2017 trips? These offers, they're only valid for our 2016 departure dates, but definitely keep an eye out because once we release our 2017 packages, again, probably early fall, those will come out. We may have some awesome discounts for all of you then. Let's see, we have a question from Latarsha. Does the Family Adventures have pricing per person or one family price? For our Family Adventures, it is per person pricing, but the great thing about those packages and all of our Family Adventures ones is we have adult pricing as well as child pricing. So the children, of course, get a great rate there, a discount. So definitely if you're looking to travel with the family, certainly let us know and we'll be able to price it out with those great discounts. We have a question from Donata. How do you accommodate a family of 5? That is a great question. There's a few different options, Donata, definitely for hotels. Let us know. We can certainly look into some of the properties that allow, a family of 5 to all be in one room if you would like to stay together. As well as on the train. Now, it depends a little bit how old the children are, but there's definitely a few different options of either doing a few roomettes there. There's also the option to in-suite the bedrooms on the train. And what I mean by that is if the availability is there, we can get 2 deluxe bedrooms that are next to each other, and there's actually dividing wall. So we can open that up. If the children are young, we can certainly do that, and there'll be plenty of room for all of you there. We have a question from Martha. What about single persons traveling? We can certainly accommodate for any single travelers. You will still get those discounts. I mentioned them as per couple, but certainly we can apply that to any single traveler too with the per person rate. We have a question from Cindy. Are there handicap accessible roomettes? Yes, Cindy, there are. The Amtrak trains, they are handicap accessible. There's a bedroom that is and allows for any wheelchairs to be wheeled in there. So definitely when you're booking, let us know, and we can certainly do that for you. Amtrak, they also offer at most of the major train stations something that's called Red Cap service. And what that is there's people in the station, they'll be able to assist with anything like luggage. If you need help getting around the station, they'll let you board the train a little bit earlier too. So they certainly are accommodating for anyone that's handicapped. So definitely let us know. So it looks like that's all we have for questions right now. So I want to say thank you so much, everyone, for taking the time joining us today. If you do have any questions you think of later, you're ready to book your next vacation, definitely give us a call at 1-800-AMTRAC2 or call your local travel agent. Thank you so much, everyone. Hope you all have a wonderful day.